السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters, our scholars have mentioned 10 conditions that if fulfilled, one may allow to partake in a gathering in a majlis of Mawlid, which is a place in which the Prophet ﷺ is being mentioned. So what are those conditions? Number one, برواية صحيحة, that when one mentions the Prophet ﷺ, he brings forth sahih and authentic narrations, and he does not bring forth mawdu' and matruk narrations, which are fabricated and rejected narrations. Number two, في أوقات خالية عن وظائف العبادات الواجبات, that the mentioning of the Prophet ﷺ should be done at a time where the fard salah is not being delayed or hindered. So, for example, the Fajr Adhan has gone, people are still busy in the gathering, they should stop immediately and make their way towards prayer. After the prayer Salah, they may resume. Number three, وبكيفيات لم تكن مخالفة عن طريقة الصحابة وأهل القرون الثلاثة المشهود لها بالخير, and that mentioning the Mawlid in a way that does not oppose the way and methodology of the Sahaba Ikram radiallahu anhum ajma'een and those who came after, which are part of the Salaf as-Salih. So one should be careful that there is no musical instruments, there is no dancing, and no such sort of behavior. Number four, وبالاعتقادات التي غير مهمة بالشرك والبدع. And when referring to the Prophet ﷺ, one must avoid false beliefs such as that the Prophet ﷺ is present amongst us, or be under the misconception that those who are not here today present amongst us in this gathering are somehow sinful and we are being obliged to come here. So one must be very careful about having that sort of understanding. Number five, وبالآداب التي لم تكن مخالفة عن سيرة الصحابة التي هي مصداق قوله عليه السلام ما أنا عليه وأصحابي. And we mentioned the Prophet ﷺ in the manner that the Sahaba Ikram radiallahu anhu ajma'in mentioned him. His seerah, his ahadith, and so forth should be done just like they did, without adding to it or subtracting to it. Number six, وفي مجالس خالية عن المنكرات الشرعية, and then obviously the gathering should not have any sin or not have any evil within it. It should be clear from all that. Number seven, بشرط أن يكون مقرونا بصدق النية والإخلاص, and that when doing the Mawlid one should be very careful about the intention. He should have it sincerely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there's no show off or other purposes such as gathering money and of that sort. Number eight, واعتقاد كونه داخلا في جملة الأذكار الحسنة المندوبة, and the belief of the person attending the gathering should be such that just like other a'mal, other acts within Islam are mustahab, he should also consider this an act of mustahab and nothing more than that. Number nine, وغير مقيد بوقت من الأوقات, and not to specify a time, a very strict time. For example, I'm going to do it on the 12th, not the 8th. I'm going to do it on the 12th, not the 9th. Not the 5th, not the 6th, but the 12th. So this should be avoided. There is no obligation upon you to restrict it to a specific time. Number 10, موجب للخير والبركة, and if done all these conditions correctly, this can be a way of attaining goodness and barakah. So what are the things that we consider incorrect and innovation? Number one, من ذكر الروايات الواهية والموضوعة, that the mentioning of the narrations are totally fabricated, false, and full of stories and whatnot. Number two, واختلاط الرجال والنساء, and men and women free mixing. This is a major sin that's happening today. We need to make sure this does not happen within our communities and our societies. Number three, والإسراف في إيقاد الشموع والتزيينات, and the use of candles, balloons, and other lightings and other beautification methods. This is a complete total waste of money and it is not permissible in Islam. Number four, واعتقاد كونه واجبا بالطعن والسب والتكفير على من لم يحضر معهم مجلسهم, that the belief that it is obligatory to be here, and those who are not here today, we are going to call them names, we are going to render them non-Muslims, and we're going to call them all sorts of names. So this should be avoided as well, because this has no place in Islam. So in summary, we are against mawlids that have the mentioning of fabricated narrations or false narrations. Number 2, we are against free mixing. Number 3, we are against wasting money on beautification of the infrastructure and the surrounding areas. Number 4, we are against sin being taking place within the gathering. Number 5, we are against strictly adhering to a time frame. Number 6, we are against those people in a gathering who are labeling other people all sorts of names because they are not attending. So even if a gathering is free from all this, and then we consider this a mustahab act, and it is not an innovation if it's free from all these and it fulfills the conditions, because mentioning the Prophet ﷺ, his birth, his seerah, mentioning the Ummahatul Mu'mineen radiyallahu anhunna, mentioning the other Sahaba Ikram radiyallahu anhum ajma'een, and all these are a form of Islam that one must take part in, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Ahzab verse number 21 that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam for us is what? Uswatun hasana.